Mariah Carey has broken her silence following her nightmare New Year's Eve performance, saying she was mortified by the lip-syncing disaster she suffered on live television. While reps for the Grammy-winning singer were quick to blame Dick Clark Productions for the mishap during the train wreck performance in New York's Times Square on Saturday night, Carey has since revealed her own disgust. "All I can say is Dick Clark was an incredible person and I was lucky enough to work with him when I first started in the music business," Carey told Entertainment Weekly. "I'm of the opinion that Dick Clark would not have let an artist go through that, and he would have been as mortified as I was in real time." Mariah's heavily hyped special performance on Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve with Ryan Seacrest quickly went bad for the singer on Saturday night when her in-ear audio stopped working mid-song. She initially took to Twitter to say "St happens" after she walked off stage midway through her performance. But then her team and Dick Clark Productions started trading blows when they each issued public statements about the performance mishaps. Representatives for Dick Clark Productions hit back at claims they sabotaged the performance, calling the accusations defamatory, outrageous, and frankly absurd. Mariah's team had blamed the mishaps on executives who allegedly set up the incident so they could get Mariah drama, according to a report from TMZ. The singer has since insisted the ordeal has not scared her away from performing on live television. "It's not going to stop me from doing a live event in the future. But it will make me less trusting of using anyone outside of my own team," she told Entertainment Weekly. "My true fans have been so supportive and I am so appreciative of them and everybody in the media that came out to support me after the fact, because it really was an incredible holiday season that turned into a horrible New Year's Eve." Before the nightmare performance, Mariah repeatedly told producers and stage managers at Dick Clark Productions that her in-ears, the concealed earpieces that relay the audience's sound back to her, weren't working, insiders told DailyMail.com. According to the same sources, the star was assured by production staff that it would be fine once she was on stage. However, that was not the case, and they were told again that her earpiece was not working. But instead of fixing the issue so that Mariah could perform, they went live, they added. But Dick Clark Productions denied responsibility, saying, "An initial investigation has indicated that DCP had no involvement in the challenges associated with Ms. Carey's New Year's Eve performance." In a statement to DailyMail.com, a representative for the production company said, "As the premier producer of live television events for nearly 50 years, we pride ourselves on our reputation and long-standing relationships with artists." To suggest that Dick Clark Productions, as producer of music shows including the American Music Awards, Billboard Music Awards, New Year's Rockin' Eve and Academy of Country Music Awards, would ever intentionally compromise the success of any artist is defamatory, outrageous, and frankly absurd. In very rare instances there are of course technical errors that can occur with live television. However, an initial investigation has indicated that DCP had no involvement in the challenges associated with Ms. Carey's New Year's Eve performance. "We want to be clear that we have the utmost respect for Ms. Carey as an artist and acknowledge her tremendous accomplishments in the industry." Sources connected with Mariah say the executives falsely told her the earpieces were on a different frequency and would work once she was on stage, TMZ reported. And despite a troubled interview earlier with host Ryan Seacrest, in which Mariah said she couldn't hear what the host was saying, she pressed on with her performance commitment anyway, with disastrous results. The megastar was supposed to herald in 2017 and say good riddance to 2016 before the traditional ball drop by performing two hits, Emotions and We Belong Together. As is common for pop performers, she would be fed the backing track through the earpieces, which is essential, as the huge speakers used in major performances can be deafening to those on stage, and the noise from crowds even more so. A sound check at 3 p.m. had worked just fine, insiders claim. But just 6 minutes before she was to perform, she was still having problems with the inner ears, and still being reassured by production staff that they would work on the night, insiders claim. An attempt to fix the problem by swapping the battery pack on her mic pack failed to fix the issue, TMZ's sources said. None of that worked, and neither did arriving at the stage 4 minutes early. But not wanting to back out of the agreement, she attempted the performance anyway. It didn't go well. Unable to follow the backing track, and scuppered by a teleprompter that, according to the singer's insiders, wasn't working, Carey stumbled over the lyrics. At one point she stopped her performance and put a hand on her hip while the backing track continued without her. Furious with the unfolding disaster in front of millions inside Times Square and watching at home, Carey, who was dressed in a stunning pink bodysuit, began pacing in frustration across the stage. Trying to keep calm, she stopped and told the crowd that despite the performance falling apart at the seams, "I'm trying to be a good sport here." Her backup dancers bravely carried on, but quickly became confused, leading Mariah to say, "It is what it is. It just don't get any better," at which point she walked off the stage. Letting emotion get the better of her, the star also said, "I wanted a holiday too. Can't I just have one?" Mariah later tried to brush off the huge blunder, writing "St. happens" in an Instagram post after the set. But insiders told TMZ it was all a plot, so they could get Mariah drama. Mariah's team also fired off an email to an exec at Dick Clark Productions, saying, "This is sabotage. We didn't have a check for this song, we're missing some of the vocals, but it is what it is. I'm just going to let the audience sing," said the singer before her fit of pique. "We didn't have a sound check for this New Year's baby, it is what it is. Get these monitors on please." At that point, Carey appeared to give up, and went over to one of her dancers and said, "Just for laughs, do the lift." The dancer then lifted Carey's leg in the air, as she sang a few notes. "I wanted a holiday too, can't I just have one?" she said as the first song wrapped up. After the second song wrapped up, Mariah sarcastically said, "Bring the feathers, it just don't get any better," before walking off. The ABC broadcast then cut back to Ryan Seacrest, who said, "Mariah Carey there, on our stage. No matter what Mariah does, the crowd absolutely loves it." Booked as the top guest for Dick Clark's Rockin' Eve with Ryan Seacrest, the megastar was supposed to herald the start of 2017 as the Waterford Crystal dropped at midnight. Alarm bells rang earlier in the day when the star's team apparently asked producers what time the ball dropped, according to the New York Post. Sources close to the megastar denied this to DailyMail.com, claiming everyone in the country knows what time the famous Waterford Crystal ball drops. According to the New York Post, producers of the show were so concerned she might be late, that they hired an entire crew to ensure the legendary diva made it to the ball on time. An apartment was reportedly booked for Mariah to have her hair and makeup done in at the top of the Times Square hotel, as organizers feared she would not make the trip from her Manhattan apartment in time. There's a team of top producers tasked to get her there on time and shepherd her to the stage, a source said, to the New York Post reported. However, Mariah's people flatly denied claims by the Post that concerns were sparked when one of her entourage asked what time exactly does the ball drop.